Hello and welcome. My name is Mathilde and I will be your teacher today for this Yin Yoga class. So Yin Yoga is very slow, and today we will cultivate a feeling of stillness and finding easiness in the stillness. In our times and days, society teaches us to be really productive, but we forget often to slow down and to basically be in stillness. And that doesn't mean doing nothing or being unproductive, because on the contrary, if you replenish your energy and your reserve, then you are being productive because you are looking after yourself. So this class is perfect for this. So I invite you to come into a comfortable cross-legged seat. I have got a blanket underneath my sit bones. And I invite you to keep a block nearby, we may need it, and to just settling into your seat. So maybe at first adjusting the sit bones, adjusting the legs, and taking a few movements from side to side with the spine. Just closing the eyes here and then rounding the shoulders. Finding some small movements just to make ourselves settled into the pose. Taking a moment to land into your body before we start our practice. And then finding a bit of stillness here, and we're going to connect with our breath. So I invite you to come and place your hands onto your stomach here. We're going to close the eyes and sit tall in the spine, and we're going to take a big inhale into the nose. And we're going to sigh out through the mouth. Really noticing the rise and fall of your tummy against your hands as you breathe in, expanding the rib cage and the stomach, breathing in. And on exhale, sighing it out, allowing the belly to shrink as the air comes out. So take a moment here to really connect with your breath, keeping the eyes closed. And if you want to rest the hands onto the lap, if you find it more comfortable, that's okay. You can keep the hands onto the belly or maybe just one hand to really connect with that breathing. Really bringing the inhale into the lower body, filling up your seat, your rib cage, your stomach, and the chest full of air. And exhaling, sighing it out through the mouth, softening the shoulders, softening the face, softening the jaw. And as you continue to breathe, just witness any sensation or any thoughts that may arrive. And allow them to just come and go here. Starting to cultivate a sense of non-attachment to those thoughts or emotion, and trying to find a bit of stillness into the mind as well as we sit here and consciously breathe. When you inhale, you're going to bring new energy into the body, replenishing everything. And on exhale, you soften, just create a little bit more spaciousness into the body. So in Yin Yoga, if you've never done it before, you will stay in some poses for maybe 3 or 4 minutes. And at first, it's finding your edge, so finding the position that is sustainable for you, in which you can peacefully breathe, and finding that effortless breathing. You may find at first that the mind will be chattering a lot, that you will find that the pause is uncomfortable, and it will tell you to come out. But if you come back to the breath and within that pause and just allow it to create space and more easiness into the pose, so you can stay in it a little bit longer. deeply, stretching the tissues and allowing them to have more space within. So you can have more space in the body, but also in the mind. Our tissues, and particularly what we call the fascia, which is a type of connective tissue that surrounds everything into the body, that holds onto emotions, frustrations, anything that's positive or negative will get stored in those tissues. And Yin Yoga is a perfect practice to allow those tissues to release what's no longer needed. So that's why initially a pause may feel a bit uncomfortable, because those tissues need to stretch and create that space. So just trust that you can do this, and trust that you will feel much better once you've gone through the initial discomfort. Let's come back to the breath here, inhaling into the belly. Keeping the eyes closed, really connecting with the breath, and exhale, sigh out. Continue to breathe slowly and deeply into your body. It is a perfect practice to find quietness. Because the quieter we become, the more we can hear. But the more still we become, the more we can also feel. And your yoga mat is a safe place to do that. We'll take another last big inhale in together. Exhale, sigh out. And when you're ready, you can keep the eyes closed or you can flutter them open, pushing the blanket off to the side. And we're going to come into a tabletop position. So on all fours, coming onto knees, bringing the hands, so spreading the finger wide onto the mat here. Hands are slightly underneath the shoulders or just a bit before, and the knees are slightly behind the hips. So here we're going to have the top of the feet relax into the mat. Take an inhale. We're going to drop the belly, lift the gaze up. The back naturally arches. When you exhale, round the spine, so tuck the head underneath into the shoulders and tuck the tail under, rounding the whole back. When the inhale comes, just drop the belly once again and lift the gaze up. Drop in the belly as much as you can. Exhale, rounding the spine, sighing it out, gazing through the thighs, tucking the tail under. Now continue these movements just following your breath and using it as a guide. As soon as the breath comes in or the inhale rises, then you know you can move. I invite you to close the eyes here to remove any distraction from anything that you can see and really internalize this experience of the breath into the body. Coordinating breath and movement, really slowing it down as much as we can. Finding easiness into the movement and space in between the shoulder blades with every exhale. Closing the eyes and finding that effortless movement. The breath initiating the movement and the exhale creating space. You don't need to think about making the movement here. The body knows what to do. We're going to take another 3 full rounds of breath. We're taking the time to really slow it down even more. Inhaling gradually. Exhale slowly, sighing it out. One last big inhale coming forward, drop in the belly, lift in the gaze up. And on exhale, rounding the spine as much as you can. And from here, bring the big toes to touch. Open up the knees a bit wider so they're pointing outwards. And we're going to sink the hips onto the heels, coming into a child's pose. Adjusting your child's pose here. And before we settling into it, we're going to find some dynamic movement just for maybe 3 rounds. So again, on inhale, rise back into our kind of a modified version of tabletop with a slight arch and a lifted gaze, but not as much as a cat. When the exhale, come rounding the spine first and falling back into a child's pose. Bring the seat to the heels. When the inhale, come rising forward into a slight arch tabletop. Closing the eyes here again if that feels good. And on exhale, rounding the spine, tucking the head under and falling back into child's pose. Take another 2 rounds here, following your breath, coming forward on inhale. And exhale, rounding the spine, then falling back into Balasana, child's pose. One last inhale, make it slow. Rounding the spine on exhale and falling back into a child's pose. From here, taking just a round of breath. Inhaling into the nose. Exhale, sighing it out. And for our next movement, walk the hands towards the right side. As much as you can outside of the mat and bringing the abdomen to rest slightly onto the right leg. So here, if the forehead touches the mat, it's great, but it doesn't have to. We're going to take a few breaths in here just to stretch the side body. You can bring the left hand on top of the right if you find that the stretch is bigger that way. And we're going to stay here and really bringing all of your awareness into the left rib cage. Inhaling deeply into that restriction. Exhaling, sighing it out slowly. Finding spaciousness again into that pose and stretching the left side body. Breathing in and out as slowly as you can make it. Sighing out. Take another 3 big breaths in here. Inhaling as slowly and gradually as you can. And sighing out gently. Do another big inhale, last one. Exhale, stay here. And on next inhale, bring the hands back to the middle, just overhead, back into child's pose, and we'll take a big clearing inhale into the nose here. Exhale, sighing it out through the mouth. Now moving the hands towards the left side to stretch the right side body. Bringing one hand on top of the other, so the right hand on top of the left if you feel the stretch a wee bit bigger, or you can just have both hands next to each other. Resting the belly and a bit of the upper body onto the left thigh. And here finding comfort and really bringing the awareness to the right side body this time. Breathing deeply into that rib cage and imagine the space between the ribs expand with each inhale. Exhaling, softening the body and falling forward over your leg just a little bit more. Taking the time here. There's no rush. The body needs time to create space. We need to cultivate a bit of patience for the mind chatter to slow down. And take another 3 big breaths in here, focusing on expanding again that big rib cage onto the right side. Exhaling, feeling the belly deflate against the leg. One last big inhale together. Exhale, side out. Now walk in the hands back to center. And we'll find a bit of comfort into our child's pose. So here, maybe widening the knees a little bit more if you're comfortable. Allowing the forearms to maybe come under the head if that feels good, or just allowing them to rest overhead onto your mat. Becoming aware of the breath once again. Slowly breathing into the belly. Expanding the stomach against your thighs. And on exhale, finding softness and space within. And if your mind is busy right now, it is okay. Just allow these thoughts and sensations and emotion to be around so you can observe them rather than acting on them. You are settling into your own body, welcoming stillness and silence as you rest here into child's pose. Coming heavy and building that feeling of surrender to your mat, but also to yourself. Allowing yourself to rest. Maybe hearing the noises from outside. Not really attaching ourselves to it. Coming fully grounded into this moment, whatever it looks like. And breathing in compassion and love for yourself. Breathing in kindness and acceptance. So here, very slowly, we're going to take 3 final big breaths. Make it as slow as you can, inhaling into the nose. Exhaling, maybe sinking a little deeper into your hips and releasing, surrendering a little bit more. Taking one last big inhale when you're ready. And on exhale, stay fully sink into the pose. When the next inhale arises, we're going to get out of child's pose very slowly, coming forward into a tabletop. Taking a forward and backward sway. We can take little circles here to bring movement slowly back into the body. Keeping the eyes closed if that feels good, and just reflecting on that experience of stillness onto the mat. Taking a breath in and out. Now here, tucking the toes under, walking the hands a little further forward, and we're going to push the hips to the sky, sending ourselves into downward dog. So here, a very easy one, keeping the ball of the feet onto the mat and not trying to push the heel really low onto the mat, but rather bending the knees and finding that spine extension. Pushing the armpits toward the ground to find a straight spine. Hips are nice and high, and we're bending one leg at a time here, exploring our downward facing dog. Hearing maybe all the cracks, all the noises that the body makes. Turning the head underneath each armpit here, closing the eyes and just feeling, fully being present within your body. Whatever it feels like. Taking one big breath here, finding stillness, bending the knees. Exhale, sigh out through the mouth, let it go. Now walk in the feet towards the hand at the top of the mat, coming into a forward fold. Bending the knees here and allowing the abdomen to rest onto the thighs. The hands are hanging, or you can grab a hold of opposite elbows here and sway from side to side. Maybe straightening one leg at a time. Again, take the time to explore this pose here. Releasing the head and the neck and the upper body. Finding stillness, maybe dropping the hands back to the mat if that feels comfortable. Or grab a block if you find that the mat is a little further away. Release here and take a couple of big breaths, folding forward a little more each time you exhale. Inhaling deeply. Exhale, sigh out. If you have a block, push it aside. And here into forward fold, we're going to slowly rise, unrolling the body back to standing position. Take your time to roll up. Really slow, almost in slow motion. And once the head, the neck, and the shoulders are upright, we'll inhale the arms to the sky. And we'll exhale the hands at prayer in front of the heart in Samastiti. And we'll inhale. Exhale, release the hand to the side. Inhale, sending the arms overhead. Exhale, fold forward into forward fold. Inhaling to straight leg and a flat back, sending the hands onto the shins here. On exhale, bringing the hands to the mat, sending the right leg back. Dropping the knee. So here, we're going to take forwards and backward movement, sending the hips forwards and backwards, straightening the front leg, just exploring the position before we settle into it. And talking the right toes and having the right top of the foot resting onto the mat. Now bringing the left hand inside of the left foot, pushing the block aside for now just to explore. You can open up the left knee to the side if you want to. Just feeling your hip flexors. Feeling any tightness into the hips here. Now we're going to find stillness into dragon pose, and that's not an easy one, so really start easy. Gravity will pull you deeper in this pose, so be patient. So if you need a block, grab it aside. And here we can stay on the hands like this, or we can come onto the block, so placing it inside of the left foot, bringing the forearms onto the block here, maybe just one forearm, and the left hand is opening the left knee, or maybe just staying here with the arms straight onto the block. So find whatever works for you. Explore it first. And if you think, oh, it's really sore and it doesn't feel comfortable, then don't stay in it. This is a deep stretch as it is. So if you find that you're feeling that stretch, then this might be your edge. So start here. And as you sink into the pose, you might be able to come down onto the one forearm. If you go too fast into a stretch, the body will tense and will get a bit scared. So take it easy. So settling into your pose, whatever you have chosen, and just close the eyes, relax the head and the neck, and deepen the breath. Send it consciously into your hips here. Trying to ignore the mind telling you that this pose is uncomfortable and it doesn't want to be in it. So keep breathing. Breathing deeply, allowing space to be created so the signal of the mind chatter stop bringing into the head. You are doing so good. Staying here for another few moments. Trying to find a bit of comfort, a bit of easiness and stillness in here. Even though it's not easy. If you have a lot of tension into the hips, then this might be quite uncomfortable at first. And it's totally normal. So don't judge yourself for it, but cultivate yourself some compassion for attending to it instead. Taking another 3 big breaths here, not rushing them, but slowing them even more than you've been doing. You can do this. We're nearly there. Taking another deep inhale. Staying for the exhale. Now, if you're on the forearm, come up onto the hands. Do not move out of the pose yet. Pushing the block to the side. And then slowly sending the hips back to straighten the front leg. Slowly coming out of this pose. And here we have 2 options. From here you can send the left leg back into tabletop straight away. Or you can tuck your right toes under, lift the rear leg, and sending the left leg back, coming into a down dog. Wherever you are, it's absolutely fine. You can come to a child's pose here if that feels good as well. And when you're ready, we'll take a big inhale in together. Exhale out. So if you're in child's pose or tabletop, make your way back to down dog. And we'll walk the feet again towards the hands, coming into forward fold just for 1 breath. Inhaling deeply. Exhale, sigh out, let it go. Now rolling very slowly back up to standing, again in slow motion if you can. Really taking the time to unravel this. Inhaling, arms to the sky. Exhaling, hands to the heart in Samastiti. We will do the other side now. So we will inhale the arms up. Exhale, falling forward, hinging from the hips into the fold. Inhale to a straight leg and a flat back. And on exhale, bringing the hands to the mat, sending the left foot back. We're going to drop the left knee here. And we're going to adjust our position, our wee low lunge or dragon pose. And we're going to find some movement here. So going forward and backwards, placing a blanket underneath the left knee if needs be. Just exploring the hip on this side, which will feel really, really different. We're not asymmetrical beings, thankfully. So it's normal not to find the same knots, or for this hip to feel quite different. Bringing the right hand inside of the right foot and exploring it even more here, opening up the right knee to the side and really closing the eyes, connecting with the areas of the hips here. Going backward and forward and just exploring here. Maybe if you can go a wee bit lower here, or maybe you can't, but whatever you can do on this side, it is okay. So maybe grabbing your block if you want to explore your edge first. Maybe coming down onto one forehead and feeling if that's sustainable. Maybe bringing both. Not using the block or just staying onto the hands, wherever you are. Stay with it and be mindfully present. Now that you're settled, you find stillness and drop in the head and the neck here. Welcoming silence and stillness once again. Allowing yourself to start feeling quite heavy in this pose. And to breathe deeply. For the mind chatter to let go. And to become comfortable. To build resilience against challenges. Breathe through them. Taking the time here, and if you find that with each exhale you're becoming a little softer, maybe you can allow yourself to come onto one forearm or both. See if you have room to go a bit deeper here as the body softens gently. Keeping the mind's eye into the pelvis, into the hips here. Breathing space in it. Breathing space for new things to come and old and stagnant energies to go away. Creating space in body and mind as we stretch so deeply all the tissues in the body. This class is a very good hip opener. So if you have tight hips or lower back issues, this is really good to create space down there. We're going to take 3 last deep breaths. Not rushing them, but again, slowing them down as much as you can. Breathing deeply into the belly. Exhaling, softening, going deeper. One more inhale in. Exhale, stay with it. And if you're on the forearms, come back up onto the hands and don't get out of the pose quite yet. Push the block aside and straighten the front leg. Push the hips back. Here again, you have the option of coming back into tabletop, sending the right leg back like this, or you can come into down dog. Wherever you are, you can also come into a child's pose if you want to rest here. There's no judgment. Whatever you need to do here, just take a moment to pause and just reflect on the experience and allowing it to be gone now. You've made it. So breathe compassion for yourself for making it. Now if you're in child's pose or in tabletop, just float forward, coming into down dog once again, tucking the toes under, sending the hips nice and high into the sky. And our next pose will be pigeon. So pigeon can be hard pose to find because it's a strong hip opener. So again, listen to your body and don't force it. Start easy. You will soften and gravity will pull you lower. So here we're going to settle in down dog, taking one inhale. Exhale, stay in down dog, bend the knees. Now inhale and inflate the right leg up with the toes pointing to the ceiling. Here we're going to bend at the knee. We're going to float the knee forward towards the chest. And we're going to drop the shin, the knee and the foot onto the mat. Walking the left foot a bit further away. Finding your pigeon here. So if you need a block underneath the hip here, you can place it to avoid collapsing into the hip. If you don't need it, you can settle in, having maybe the right heel close to the left hip bone. Going to bring the forearm onto the mat in front of us, allowing neck and head to relax. Or you can come and bring the forehead to the mat. Bring the arms overhead. Again, wherever you are, just trust that you can stay and breathe and allow your breath to flow freely into the body. Pigeon pose has always been one of my favorite poses because it feels so nice into the buttocks area and the lower back. The stretch you get from it is wonderful. Breathing in compassion for your body. Acceptance. Coming back to cultivating this non-attachment to your thoughts and your sensation. You're coming and going, just like passing clouds into the sky. And the breath can be the wind that allows them to move rather than being there lingering into your mind. Trying to maybe sink a little deeper into your pigeon if you can bring maybe the forehead onto the forearms. See what feels possible for you today. And surrender to pigeon. Surrender fully to your mat. We're going to take 3 big breaths here. Taking a time to slow down each step of each breath. Sinking a little bit lower with your exhales. Taking another final big inhale to the nose. Exhale, sigh out and stay. And here, if your forehead is onto the mat, we're going to rise and use the hands to push ourselves back up. And really taking a time, be slow to come out of a pose here. The stretch has been quite intense, so you don't want to rush it. We're going to tuck the left toe under, lifting that leg, and here unraveling the right leg to send it back to down dog. Finding some walking movement here into your downward facing dog to bring life back into that hip and noticing how this side is feeling now. Probably a little bit looser. Taking the time to walk it out. Maybe noticing if we can bring the heels a little bit closer to the mat. Then finding stillness, bending both knees, taking a big inhale in. Exhale, sigh out. I will inhale and inflate the left leg to the sky. Toes are pointing towards the mat. We're going to bend at the knee here, and then slowly float it forward towards your chest, and dropping the left knee onto the mat, onto the shin. Walking your right foot backwards, settling, finding your pigeon, using the block underneath your left hip if you need. Your left heel is close to your right hip, maybe bringing the forearms to the mat. Maybe the forehead comes down as well. Just finding the space and finding your edge in this side. It will feel different than the other side, and it might be easier or more difficult. So that's why don't judge yourself for it if it's different. It is completely normal. Settling into your pigeon here, wherever you are, just start surrendering to it. Coming back to the breath here, taking slow and deep inhale into the stomach, into the seat. Allowing the left hip to find space with each exhale as you sink, maybe a little deeper. Not tensing the body, the head and neck are released, cultivating a sense of spaciousness within yourself. Maybe sinking a little bit deeper into the pose if that feels good now. And if you have not a lot of space just now, stay where you are. And breathe and trust that gravity and your breath can take you a wee bit deeper. Breathing in deeply. Sighing it out through your mouth. Making your inhale and exhales even longer. And we're going to take 3 last big breaths here. And once again, not rushing to take them, making them even slower. Enjoying the stretch here. One last final inhale into the nose. Exhale, stay and surrender fully. Now if you're on the form, use your hands to pull yourself back up very slowly. And here tucking the right toes under, lifting the right leg and slowly unraveling to come back and push ourselves in down dog. Walking your dog here, noticing how the left leg feels now that it's been nicely stretched. Just exploring your down dog, and we'll take an inhale. Exhale, sigh out, let it go. Now dropping the knees to the floor. We're going to come to butterfly position for our next pose. Grab a wee blanket as we're going to sit on it. I'm going to place the sit bones comfortably. And we're going to bring the sole of the feet together. So it's a wee bit different than a cross-legged seat, this one. So the feet are touching and they can be quite far away from your hips or closer to the groin. Wherever you are, just find the space where you feel comfortable. You're going to stand tall on the spine, the hands are resting onto the feet and clasping the feet together if you can. We're going to close the eyes here and we're going to move the knees up and down very slowly. Just finding a bit of space into the hips as we've been working them out. So exploring the hip joint by fluttering the knees up and down. And now just stopping the movement, settling into the seat, and we're going to clasp the hands around the toes or the feet. And we're going to hinge over from the hips, fall forward. When you feel that you can't go any lower, just drop the head and the neck. You can move the hands a bit further away if you can, maybe coming down all the way to the forearms if you're really flexible. Otherwise, just keep the hands a bit forward, allowing the forearm to maybe rest onto the legs just now. And closing the eyes and allowing gravity to pull you lower. Finding that space into the hips once again and mindfully directing the breath over there. Releasing upper back, the shoulders and the neck, and the head to hang. Almost as if you want to bring your head into your feet. Just surrendering into this last pose before we get into our relaxation. Our Shavasana. breathing into the restriction, if you find any. Breathing in compassion for yourself. This kind of practice is so soothing, to let go of energies or things we no longer need. But they are also wonderful to send love, compassion, acceptance for ourselves. Because yoga is a form of self-love, and practicing it regularly is self-care. And going back to the beginning, this kind of slow practice is productive because it brings more insight and clarity within the mind. Cultivating stillness and silence allows more space for the good things. You can find a place where you can fully surrender for yourself. We're going to take 3 deep breaths in here. Not rushing them, making them slow. Inhaling deeply into the nose. Exhale, sighing it out. One last big inhale into the belly. Exhale, sigh out and release. And with your hands, pushing yourself back up the upper body very slowly. And here, bringing the hands underneath the knees and helping them to come back together in front of us. We can move the blanket aside and we'll come to lay onto our back. And from here, we're going to drop the knees into windshield wipers movement from side to side. Giving your lower back a little massage here after all this hip work. Finding a few last movement here, maybe bringing the knees to the chest if that feels good, making yourself in a little ball, giving yourself a big, big hug. You can come to a happy baby, opening up the sole of the feet towards the ceiling and opening the knees to the side and swaying from side to side. Any final stretch that you'd like to take. Wherever you are, we'll take one last deep inhale together. And then exhale, extend the legs, extend the arms alongside your body. And find your Shavasana, so maybe grab a pillow for your head, a bolsters under your knee, your socks, a blanket, whatever you need to make your Shavasana comfortable. Settle in here. Starting to become really heavy. Allow yourself to settle into a comfortable place. Taking one final big breath in if you need, just to let go. The body is heavy as it sinks a little bit more into the mat. Now abandoning any conscious control of your breath. Let it flow to its natural rhythm. Without changing anything here. Bring your awareness to notice the rise and fall of your navel as you breathe in and out. This moment, there's nothing for you to do. Nowhere else to be. You are fully present within the comfort of your own self. In this sacred space of stillness, find a sense of grounding and wholeness. Fully anchored in the here and the now. Rooted in the comfort of your own being. As you lie here, you may notice your thoughts, sensations, or emotion coming and going, but allowing them now to really float around and to move away as quickly as they arise, allowing them to come and dissolve into the space of your own being. Surrendering the flow of sensation and thoughts, cultivating a sense of non-attachment, letting go of any need to control anything here, letting go of what no longer serves you. And you can stay here a lot longer than this video allows, or you can bring the awareness back to the space. And slow movement, moving the head from side to side, wiggling the toes and the fingers. And when you're ready, roll on to one side, basking yourself into this sense of groundedness, this effortless sense of stillness. Taking a big inhale here. Exhale out. And when you're ready, coming back up to a comfortable seated position as we're going to close the practice together. Bringing the hands to rest onto the laps, taking a big inhale. Exhale, sigh out, let it go. Bringing the hands at prayer in front of the heart. Bowing the head gently over the hands in sign of gratitude and compassion for yourself and your practice today. May you carry this peaceful sense of calm and groundedness through the rest of your day. Thank you for practicing with me. Namaste.